Time now for the RV podcast, our first one in 2022.
And this week we've got some straight talk to you about camping in 2022.
Welcome, fellow travelers. It's time for another episode of the RV Podcast.
Answering your questions, sharing tips, suggesting great trips and off-the-beaten-path adventures, and always staying on top of the RV lifestyle news you need to know about with great interviews and inside industry information.
Here's your hosts, award-winning journalists Mike and Jennifer Wendland.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Wendland. This is my lifelong traveling companion and my puny bride, Jennifer. Happy New Year, first of all.
Well, Happy New Year to everybody out there.
You want to tell everybody why you're puny?
I'm puny because I have COVID.
Well, how's that for a New Year's present?
Right. Mike, I had what I thought was just a little cold, and Mike insisted that I get COVID tested, which was not an easy thing to do.
Holy cow, have you tried to get tested? It is very challenging. Yeah, it's hard to find spots.
Very expensive, too.
Well, it turned out for us. Normally it's free, but we found a private lab. But that's
another story.
The big thing is, it's a good thing I had her tested.
I tested positive. I've always kind of blown off those tests because so many of them are false positive.
This was an accurate one, and we believe it's the Omicron, that she has that variant. We've both been vaccinated. We've both been boosted. Mm-hmm. So your symptoms, how would you describe them?
Sore throat. I thought I had a cold. Sore throat, stuffy, a little bit of a dry cough, headache, upset stomach. And I wasn't feeling well. Stuffy head.
You've had worse colds,
sneezing.
So.
Yeah. But I mean, I just thought I had a cold.
So that's the big news for us. We hope you all had a great Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
We hope you are having a great New Year. And obviously, if Jennifer was really sick, she would not be here. Why am I so close to her? Well, we had fun on our thing. We said, actually, we have a
glass.
A little glass here.
Right in between us. You just can't see it.
No, we don't. I tested negative, and actually, we've got a couple more tests coming this week. I think I already had it. We think I had it Christmas Eve. I'm doing a ton of vitamins and a lot of the regimens that you probably have seen elsewhere. And I got really very, very tired on Christmas Eve, unlike anything.
Yeah, I've never seen him like that before, being so tired. Mike is normally the life of the party. Ask the grandkids and the dogs.
Yeah, dogs love me. Kids love me. People, not so much. But I think that I had it. I tested negative the same day. I went back after Jennifer's positive. As soon as I record this, I'm going to go out and get tested again. And then on Wednesday, I'm getting tested again, and Jennifer is getting tested because her symptoms should be over by then, and we want a clean bill of health because if she is symptom-free and I am still negative, then
we will go do our Upper Peninsula camping.
Yeah, this is our annual winter camping trip. We just did a tally the other day, and 50 people are heading up to Quamanon Falls in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where we have been having one of these now. This will be number 9. We have never missed one. I would say it's probably one of our all-time favorite campouts every year. Mm-hmm. So we know it is Bo's.
I was going to say Bo, undoubtedly. It is his favorite.
So we're hoping to go, but we just don't feel it's right to go unless we both test negative. Right?
And I have the energy, which I'm hoping to have the energy.
Yeah. Well, you're doing this
have
podcast,
energy.
right?
That's
you're
true.
Feeling, and
That's
if she feels puny, she'll leave.
COVID was last year. Now it's recovery, and let's move on.
Let's move on. Well, we're going to talk about COVID a little bit in our assessment of what you can expect when you go camping this year in 2022. No BS, straight talk. If you look at the industry statements, everything is wonderful. They're taking the money in like crazy, but everything is not wonderful, and we're going to be honest about that. But with challenges come opportunities, and we're going to tell you about some of those, but that's coming up. We are hoping to go to the UP. It depends on energy and positive test, and we won't be able to know that for a couple of days yet as we record this podcast. So we do think with pretty much certainty, as certain as you can be about anything, is that we will be at the Tampa RV Super Show on the 19th through the 23rd in Florida. We are still planning to be there. We have a meetup scheduled on the 20th with those of you who are at the show. 2 p.m., the open air pavilion. Some people call it the beer tent, even though it's not a tent. It's at the south end of the fairgrounds, and it's right on the showgrounds, and we'll be there at 2 p.m. on the 20th. And I say that knocking on wood because you never know. You just don't know in these crazy times. But we're pretty excited.
We'll give it our best shot.
Hey, we have 2 announcements for you, and we're really excited. It's a new year, and the first one is we have a new book, The Ultimate Guide to Free and Cheap Places for RV Camping. We think it's a really timely book because, as you'll hear in our assessment of the 2022 camping season, it's really hard to find spots in campgrounds, particularly on weekends and during popular times. So this book is 33 pages, but it's jam-filled with links and resources that will help you find a free spot or a very inexpensive spot, kind of alternatives to the traditional campgrounds. It's really handy, we think, and we're very excited about it. It just went up on our shop, our online shop, just this week, and you can find it by going to rvlifestyle.com/free camping. Free camping is one word. rvlifestyle.com/free camping. It's $7, instant download. This is an ebook. It's not a printable book, but they could print it out if they wanted.
If you want to, you can.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
That's probably what I would do.
You'd print it? Yeah, I like
I'm
having
kind of
it.
a paper
You can
girl.
put it on your phone or your tablet or your computer. And why we love these ebooks is they're current, and if you just click the links, you go right to that resource. And so it's a handy guide, especially with the challenges that we're all going to face in getting in regular campgrounds in 2022. More of that coming up in just a couple of seconds here. But that was the announcement first. And the second announcement,
We have another book coming out on the Natchez Trace.
yes, that will be coming out, we think, about April. And we're really excited about that. And we'll follow that with a couple more. We'll tell you about those as we get closer. So lots of new books this year. One more thing we want to tell you about, and we have another giveaway, a pretty cool giveaway from our friends at Waggle. They
we've
were
got
with us
2.
last year, and this year they're giving away two separate winners. You want to tell them what they are? That the prizes
Well,
are?
the gifts are giving away. They run $199 each, and 2 different Waggle products. The first one is a Waggle Pet Monitor, and it keeps track of the temperature inside your RV and alerts you via your smartphone if it exceeds the limit that you set. So that gives you peace of mind when you've got your puppy and you can't be right with them every minute. And the second one is another Waggle Cam worth $199. It shows you a video feed of your RV. You can see your pup lying on the bed eating popcorn and chocolates and chewing on socks,
and
I
if
guess.
they're out of food, you can
And you can push a button
push a button on
on
your
your
smartphone.
smartphone and launch a treat at them. So how's that for being cool?
So the first is this little device that monitors the temperature and is in touch with your smartphone. You can call it up on demand, see what the temperature is inside, and it will alert you if it gets too hot or too cold or whatever you set it for. That is, we have had one of those for years. It gives you
That's
real
a
peace of
must.
mind when you want to leave.
Absolute
Yep,
must.
Yep. And the second one is that cool Waggle Cam. So 2 separate prizes, and the way to enter, you can enter it as many times as you want. Just go to rvlifestyle.com/sweepstakes, rvlifestyle.com/sweepstakes. There's also a link there if you just want to say, I just want those, I need one. You might want to take advantage of that because for 2 weeks, that's the length of this contest, for 2 weeks, Waggle will give you a 50% discount, 50% on either product. So go to that link, enter the contest, and you'll have some fun.
I want to say, because we have so many new people out there camping, all these newbies, you don't realize that your RV, your camper, is just like a car. It heats up 20 or 30 degrees higher than the outside air in just a few minutes. So newbies, make sure you know how hot it is in your vehicle.
And a lot of RVs these days have generators that will kick on that you can start. Some of them you can start remotely as well, and that's great. But, I think our big worry is if you're out, maybe touring a museum and the dog is, the cat or the pet, whatever you have, is in your RV and the air conditioner goes out, you run out of batteries or the generator doesn't start or whatever. Or if you're at a campground, if somebody walks by and unplugs it, I'm not saying that that'll happen, but if it did, it could get really hot really quick. So having that peace of mind assurance is good. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk hands off, no BS, what to expect this year in camping, the good and the bad. Stay with us.
Have you ever thought of owning your own land for camping or a homestead? Tennessee Land and Lakes is selling off a 1,500-acre estate known as the Woodlands at Buffalo River in large acreage properties from 5 to 126-acre homesteads. Unlike most properties, these are virtually unrestricted, allowing year-round living in an incredible natural setting. These are multi-use properties. You can camp on them, build a dream house if you want, a cabin, a barn, a garage. It's your land, and there's no HOA, no rules. It's your property, your way. There's high-speed fiber optic internet available, wooded trails, and big views, surrounded by the most popular destination spots in Tennessee like Nashville, Kentucky Lake, and the Buffalo River. The pricing starts at $69.9. There's even great financing. Jennifer and I like it so much that we bought there. Take a video tour and get the details at myrvland.com.
When we're on a road trip, we always seem to find a way to stop at a Camping World center. There are over 225 Camping World locations across the country, and there's always one close by when we need parts and accessories for our RV or just want to shop. In fact, we have so much fun with Camping World, and as we talk about it as one of our sponsors, they have agreed to offer a 10% discount if you use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you buy $99 or more in merchandise. You'll find everything you want, from outdoor furniture and appliances, the ones you see us use in our videos and that we talk about here in the podcast. RV extras that include everything from camping chairs to fire pits, electrical accessories, must-have gadgets. Check them all out. And again, don't forget, use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you visit campingworld.com.
Welcome back. And now our main topic for this episode. Mike, I'm going to let you do most of the talking because your voice is stronger than mine. So COVID, that nasty COVID, what does it mean to camping in 2022?
Well, it means you could get sick really quick, as we found out. And that's why you're not going to talk. It's not that I'm just hogging the show, right?
Right.
Okay, because her voice is, she may start coughing, and we'll go from there. It's really hard in these first few days of 2022 to say with certainty what's going to happen with COVID for the rest of the year. I go back to 2 years ago. No one saw this coming. I remember we were at a Walmart in Arizona, and we were packing up to go to Quartzsite about this time, and they were talking about this coronavirus. And I remember being in the Walmart, and there was a stack of Corona beer. And I took my smartphone and I did a stupid little stand-up saying, "Hey, who says you don't want Corona?" Because we had no idea. I never put that on, and I'm glad I didn't. Because we had no idea what that would be like. And here we are 2 years later, and we still don't know what it'll be like. The effects of this are not going away with the change of the calendar. And as we noted, Jennifer has it right now. And across the country, we're seeing unprecedented spikes in the number of infections. This week, one of the top infectious disease experts and a key advisor on COVID policy to the government said that just between now and the end of January, he said, quote, "We're going to have a hard time keeping everyday life operating because of the sharp rise from this Omicron variant that's out there." We talked a little bit at the intro about how hard it is to get a test. And if you are trying to get a test, you know it is almost impossible to get a same-day test. Those at-home instant tests are pretty much sold out everywhere. Yes, you can get them, but several days down the line. You can get a test, but again, several days down the line. So 2 years after it hit, it's still very much here. And the point I want to make about COVID is that it is going to continue to disrupt the RV industry and camping for many months to come in many ways. Even if all those spikes go down, RV manufacturers who are hard hit by parts shortages, they have more employees out sick. That has delayed production. Even if everybody came back tomorrow, it's going to take them time to recover. The industry is greatly disrupted by all of this.
And I think what people keep forgetting about are all those cargo ships sitting out there that aren't unloaded, and then the lack of truck drivers, how important truck drivers are to get everything we need from point A to point B. So if you need a part, there's lots of bumps in the road.
Yeah. And then there's the whole question about RV shows, which have been such a big part of the lifestyle. They were canceled, all of them, from the spring on in 2020. Most of them were canceled last year. Hershey came back in the fall with good attendance, but everybody was going around like this. Tampa is on, which is the big one. Next week. Courtside has over 100,000 people expected to descend on this little tiny town in the desert near the California-Arizona border. That's a huge show. If those bring about big spikes, you can be sure that that's going to have an adverse effect on other RV shows. It's going to be insane.
Well, the good thing is both of those places are sunny places, so vitamin D is going to be out there.
That's true. Vitamin D is very important for it. So the result of all of this is that COVID has changed everything in our country. International travel has almost all been shut down. The CDC just announced this past week, don't go on a cruise ship, which is a very popular way.
Oh, people love their cruise ships. We were talking about going on a little one to celebrate a special occasion, and I don't think so.
People who rent vacation homes, VRBO, Airbnb, all the different agencies, they've all recorded record rentals. They're all booked up. So the only viable way to get a vacation and get out there is through camping. And that takes us to another big effect.
And you know how hard it was before to get campsites. Well, it's going to be even harder now with all these people trying to get out there and camp.
I think a few people will dispute me when I say that almost every weekend of the season, of the 2022 season, starting in early summer, every holiday, they're all booked up right now. All booked up. And I think it's very safe to say that if you can't make a reservation more than 6 months out, a year would be wise if you want to start getting something for next year. If you can, book that far out. A year is not unreasonable to get a reservation. You really need to be thinking 6 months out because so much is so filled right now.
And naturally, prices are going up.
Yeah.
In the campsites, if you do get a spot, it's going to go up, and maybe weekends are more expensive than during the week. I mean, it's going to hit you in the pocketbook.
Well, it is a seller's market.
Right.
Everything connected to the RV industry is seeing increasing prices in 2022. RV prices are through the roof for new models. Campground fees, they're on the rise. Fuel costs are up. Propane costs more. I think that's going to see a lot of people travel shorter distances in 2022. And I think the effect of all of that is going to be particularly hard felt on those who are full-timers. Only about maybe 10% of all the RVers out there are full-timers. I think that might even be a little high. But I have heard of so many that are trying to come off the road.
Oh, and if you're trying to come off the road full-time because it's so expensive, buying a house. Houses are up in price, so you went on the road to try to make your money last longer and stretch it out. And if that's not working, finding a place to live, a stick and brick.
It's going to be very hard. Yeah, it is going to be really hard. You touched about the supply chain with all the big container ships off
Right.
Las Vegas.
Los Angeles.
You might as well go to Vegas and just heck with it. Off the port of Los Angeles.
You might be predicting the future, Las Vegas.
yeah, that might be the coast someday. But those massive container ships, it's going to take months and months to untangle that backlog out there right now. The experts are saying that it won't be until 2023 and probably mid-2023 that we see a dramatic improvement in the supply chain. So to RV manufacturers, they can't get the awnings they want, the computer chips, the accessories, the appliances that they need to complete production on many of those RVs that are ordered. Some RV manufacturers say you order today, it'll take 3 years to get that new one. And the price is going to be different every year. I think Thor said at least a year. They've got a multi-billion-dollar backlog of orders. So that supply chain is going to remain broken during 2022.
But the good news is if you want to sell yours, you'll probably get a good price.
Yes, we have a question coming up in this week about somebody asking about that. So the supply chain costs. So what does that mean? I think the first thing it means is if you really want to get out there and enjoy 2022, you got to think out of the box a little bit. And that means think outside of campgrounds, outside of traditional campgrounds and state parks and the places that you normally go to all the time. So as we think it has always been, but in particular in 2022, I think boondocking is going to be the best way to do RV camping in 2022.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, as people discover the beauty of boondocking and the very low cost, if anything, of staying in dispersed camping sites on public land, the downside of that is it's going to get crowded. We have a question about that, about one of our favorite dispersed camping sites that we have talked about before. In 2021, we saw an alarming trend in which public campgrounds on U.S. Forest Service land, on BLM land, were being shut down because they were being trashed. Some blamed it on homeless encampments.
You don't know if it's homeless encampments or you don't know who's doing the damage.
Newbies, that just don't understand etiquette.
They have to clean up, and you can't drive over and wreck all the plants and everything that are there. You gotta be responsible. So we don't know who's doing it, but enough people were doing it that things are being shut down.
So hopefully not enough of them will be to have a huge effect, but that's the problem. But boondocking is really popular. That's one of the reasons we just put this book out that we talked about earlier, our new book on this guide to free and inexpensive places where you can camp beyond traditional campgrounds. It's $7. I know I'm not saying we're giving it away, but it's a really good resource to have.
And that's why places like Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome are wonderful things, but even they are starting to fill up.
Campground alternatives like Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, which are probably the biggest of them all, which they let members stay free at homes and farms and attractions and the driveways or the backyards of certain individual RVers. We are hearing regularly that it's getting harder to find a campground or a campsite at a Harvest Host location because of its popularity. They are adding more. They really are, and they're doing it very effectively. So I think, they've added golf courses now and Boondockers Welcome, and, more and more businesses are saying, wow, this is great. Let's bring RVers in. So that's going to grow. I think that you'll see other competing services develop. Enterprising people will figure it all out.
Well, what surprised me that there were several ideas that didn't seem to fly.
Yeah, we talked about in 2021 a mooch stocking site company that tried to organize. And then there was another company that organized something around churches where you could park free in church parking lots. I was going to mention them in this week, but as I did my due diligence and checked, both their websites were gone or not operating. So I don't know what happened to those services, but they're not very viable if you can't get to their website. So I think somebody else is going to figure all of that out. But campground alternatives are huge. And one trend that we think we are right on top of ourselves.
And that is buying some land so that you have a spot that you can go to whenever you want. And I see real potential in somehow networking so that you could trade off. You know, somebody can use your land for a while, you can use their land. You know, I see a future in that.
We have been contacted by dozens and dozens of other people who are doing what we just did. We just bought, if you're a regular, you know, we just bought 5 acres in Tennessee. We're not going to live there, but we're going to develop into
A campsite.
a couple of campsites for ourselves and friends. And we're not opening a campground or anything like that.
No campground.
It's just for us. It's a private retreat, and we'll invite some friends and maybe some of you followers. But we've heard of so many other people, and we know of other people who've bought similar land in the area we're doing in Tennessee. And now I've heard from people all over the country, some who've been doing this for years, some who have just started. We are now looking for another bunch of property to buy in Michigan. And what I am surprised, I thought I wanted to do it by the end of the year. It's selling like crazy. People are buying it sight unseen.
Yeah, they just buy this land.
And so...
you don't have time to go look at it.
We've got about 11 different pieces of property we want to look at, and if I don't go up that day, they're gone. So they're selling fast, but this is going to be very popular. And we are talking with other RVers who own land, and we are thinking about starting some kind of an association where you can swap, you know, like we'll let somebody borrow our land in Tennessee and we'll go use theirs in Colorado or Montana. And so that's going to take a while to develop, but this is going to be, I think, a big trend, people getting their own land, and that's going to be great. So that's another trend that we see, something that's up for 2022. Now, what about your RV? You're going to hold on to it longer.
Yeah, so you're going to be wanting to upgrade. I think that like the lithium batteries and converters, you're going to want to upgrade a lot of things.
Yeah, upgrading, improving your existing RV because new RVs, particularly motorhomes, like I said, they're taking typically from 1 to 3 years to get. So a lot of people are just holding on to what they have longer. We actually expected that there would be a glut of used RVs on the marketplace about now because, you know, in COVID, everybody bought up all the new ones. And we thought, well, they would have tried it for a year or two and that things would have been back to normal by now and that they would be getting rid of their RVs. Well, they're not. They're holding on to them because that's the only way you can get a vacation these days. So what that is going to do is it's going to mean that it's going to be harder to get upgrades because the RV shops and the techs are going to be busy upgrading other people's RVs. So it's going to be very interesting. We, by the way, think now that if you're going to upgrade, get at least a 3,000 watt inverter. That's going to be, I think, the new standard because so many people are going off the grid. And of course, lithium batteries, prices starting to come down, not very much because of the demand, but they will eventually. And solar, of course, is huge. We're going to see more and more people doing that. So I guess that is our straight talk to you. It's filled with challenges. It's filled with challenges.
And of course, where there's a will, there is a way. And we will figure out ways that we can go camping.
And that's the overarching message that we want to give you in our straight talk here for this episode, is that yes, these are challenging times. Yes, the RV industry and the camping industry is experiencing stress. But we really do believe that there are other opportunities out there amidst all of the challenges that you face. And if you have patience, if you're polite with other people, if you're understanding, if you're willing to try new things and develop new approaches and maybe look past traditional campground stays, We think that 22 will be a great year for the RV lifestyle. It's still the best way to go out there. So,
I think it kind of speaks volumes. All these people buying the RVs and they're keeping them.
right.
So, I mean, it's an inexpensive way if you got a young family to go have adventures.
And long term, the supply chain will get better. RV manufacturers will start being able to deliver a little faster, and more campgrounds will be built. That's just not going to happen in 2022, I'm sorry to say. So look for those opportunities. Stick with us. We'll keep tell you everything that we know. And Happy New Year. And happy trails no matter where they take you. Just
No
quote my
matter
wife.
where you go.
All right, when we come back, RV questions of the week.
When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battleborn Batteries. Battleborn Batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battleborn batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battleborn battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battleborn batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium. Whether you're staying close to home or wheeling across the country, RVers need the best value in medical coverage. Peace of Mind for RVs.com has a Medicare enrollment specialist with 16 years of experience and can tailor your Medicare plan selection with the choices that matter most to you. So you can keep your doctors and make sure your prescriptions and medical care are covered wherever you travel. Peace of Mind for RVs.com will help you get the most out of your Medicare coverage, choose just the right options, and they can even get you squared away with all the things that Medicare may not cover, like specialized emergency transportation coverage, air ambulance coverage, dental, vision, hearing, all at the best bang for the buck and tailored specifically for the RV lifestyle. You can find out more and get all your questions answered by going to peaceofmindforrvs.com. That's peaceofmindforrvs.com.
Welcome back, and now it's time for our questions of the week. And the first one hits kind of close to home. It's from Carol and Jimmy. And they say, "Hi, Mike and Jennifer. Forgive us for being rude or too personal, but we have followed you for years, and isn't it about time that you guys get a new RV? So what will it be? When? And is this the real reason we are writing? Can we have first dibs on buying your current Wonder rear twin bed model? We love that unit, and our dealer says it will be 3-year wait. So can we buy yours? We feel we know it well, as we see it each week in your videos. If so, contact us." And they gave us their personal information in case we want to sell our Wonder.
Carol and Jimmy, no, it's not for sale.
Not for sale.
Yet.
Yet.
No. Boy, they do follow us because we tend to get a new RV every 3 years, and we're getting
It's time.
there. And we are shopping, but like many of you, there's a delay. We did, the last one we sold, our previous model, we mentioned it on Ask Us Anything that we had a new one on order, we're going to get it, and we no sooner were off the air than I got an email from somebody who says, "We'll buy it," and they did. They did. So Carol and Jimmy, you're just a little ahead of the game here. We love our Wonder, and we put a lot of extra upgrades in it, and we'd like to get some more use out of those. But we are thinking about what our next RV will be, and we mentioned this the other night on Ask Us Anything. I think we want to get something that has a little more towing capacity, because my bride thinks that it would be fun to bring our own car so we don't have to break camp every night. It's not hard to break camp, but there are times, particularly like in our new RV site that we're developing in Tennessee, we'd like to be able to leave it there and then take the car into town. And So we're thinking of, we're looking, see what's there. There's lots of opportunities, just not a lot of new ones right there. And we change, by the way, all the time so that we are familiar with different RVs. We've had Bs and Cs, and I don't know if we'll ever get an A. We have had a towable in the past. We've had a pop-up in the past. So
We've had a tent.
We've had a tent. We were tent campers.
I decided I didn't like getting up off the ground.
Yeah, it gets a little harder the older you get, doesn't it?
Right.
So it's just not time for us yet. We're thinking about it. We're shopping. That's one of the reasons we want to go to Tampa. We'll look around and see what's there. The problem is you can't get anything new for a long time. So unless a manufacturer decides that, hey, you guys should have one of ours, new ones, and test this out, we're going to have to get creative too. But thank you for asking the question.
I think that's really cute.
It was really cute. Yep.
Okay, our second question is from Jim. I wanted to thank you for all of your great content. I really enjoy your videos. Thank you, Jim. I happened on a video that you did where you talked about dispersed camping in Michigan. You were suggesting an area, I believe it was called by Pigeon River, maybe near Grayling. I took my first dispersed camping trip to the UP, Hiawatha National Forest, this past year, and it was incredible. I'm so glad you had a good time. The area you were talking about sounded a little closer to my house, so I was wondering if you could give me the name of the area.
No, we're going to keep it to ourselves. It's like a fishing hole now. We think that you should keep these things secret. I bet people do yell at us when we share them, but Jim, the area, you're close. It's the Pigeon River State Forest in Michigan. It's state land, and it is spectacular. It's a huge, vast chunk of wilderness. It's all boondocking. It's dispersed camping. There are a couple of really nice little organized, small, no hookup campgrounds there as well.
Our daughter's going to turn on us.
She's
the one who told us about that.
She told us and said, "Don't be telling everybody." And but hey, it's out there, and there's somebody else that found how great it is to get out of a campground and have the wilderness to you. Now, not everybody. Some people love campgrounds, and we do too. We stay at campgrounds, but
and there's nothing wrong with swimming pool for the kids and organized games and activities and
laundromats.
It's all good.
But I guess what we're saying is that's why I love dispersed camping, because we camp to get outside and then be in the wilderness, and that's where you find it. So Pigeon River State Forest, check it out. I think you'll like it. It's great.
We would love to get your questions. You can either send us an email or turn your phone around and do a selfie and do it several times. One time, get it how you're comfortable with that question, and we would love to have that.
And you just mail it to us, either that or your written question. Just send it to us at Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. All right, that's episode 377 of the RV Podcast. We will be back next week with more. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'd love to hear your comments and everything we just suggested, so use that email address to reach out to us as well. Have a great 2022.
Happy trails.